It's been a week. I really don't even know where to start. So we'll start off with the good stuff. PT's going really well. My knee is still pretty painful, but I'm making good progress in PT. So I'm happy about that. When I got home from PT Monday evening, my mother-in-law fell and broke her foot. I had to call 911 because I can't pick her up. And of course it was my coworkers, my former coworkers, that showed up and had to get me out of the floor too, because I stupidly got down in the floor with her and couldn't get back up. So it was kind of comical. They took a picture, but I'm not going to post it because my mother-in-law would kill me. But they got me out of the floor, got her out of the floor. She woke up the next morning with her foot swollen, black and blue, and it's broken. So that has been fun. So I've been up and down a lot, getting her to and from the bathroom and feeding and all of that stuff. And we still have help from Celeste, Lee's ex-wife. So it's not all on me, but it has been an ordeal. And then Wednesday night, as we were going to bed, Lee got a phone call that his Uncle Jack passed away. He was in the nursing home here locally. It's sad, but it's also a success story. Jack was 81 and he had cerebral palsy. Couldn't understand a word he said, but he was a social butterfly and just a very special person. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go to the funeral because it's out of town and we can't leave Lee's mom here by herself. The chicken egg apron that was in last week's video is in timeout right now. It was misbehaving and I got tired of fiddling with it, so I put it on the back burner. But you guys bought all the ice cream koozies that I had. They're all gone. So today is Wednesday. I just left PT and I signed up to take an adult beginners sewing class this weekend. I'm super excited about it. So I've got to go get those supplies for that. I think it's really going to broaden my horizons with my crochet stuff. I can make like bags and purses and stuff and line them and put zippers and pockets and all the things and just make them, just elevate them a little bit. So I'm excited to do that. I'm also going to look at yarn. You guys really liked the ice cream koozies a lot more than I expected, so I'm going to try to make a few more of those. Also have some more things coming, but yeah, you guys have pretty much bought most of the stuff that I have, and thank you. I've sent stuff out this week to so many different states. It's been crazy, but yeah, so I hope to get some more of that stuff made for you guys and still have a little surprise thing I'm gonna put in my shop. But y'all really like the ice cream koozies, so I will try to get some more of those out for you. And let's see, tomorrow is my neurosurgery appointment. By the time you see this video, I will have been to that. I'm doing okay. I'm just trying not to think about it too much because there's literally nothing that I can do to control that or change it in any way. So, you know, there's no point fretting over it. But yeah, so let's go do some shopping and think about that instead. I went to Hobby Lobby, got some more yarn, and I have some more to make, but so far I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more ice cream koozies. I'm calling it the Starburst collection because to me they look like a pack of Starburst. I had to order more tags, so when the tags get here, I will put the tags on there, and then I will get those on my Etsy shop for you. I still have something else coming to my Etsy shop. These koozies were actually not what I was talking about in my last video. That was kind of a last minute thing. Though I do still have something else I'm gonna post on there when the supplies come in. Did my shopping and I wore my brace, Angie and Kim. My knee is screaming, but we got it done. And I'm talking to my phone in the parking lot like an idiot, but do it for the YouTube, right? Got my little sewing bag, some yarn, some storage stuff. Bought them out. You guys also showed interest last week in like a weekly Amazon thing, so I'm gonna start that today. So I've had this now for a couple of weeks. This is obviously going to be geared towards iPhone users or people with Apple products, but it's a 3-in-1 charger. You can charge your AirPods, your watch, and your phone all at one time with one cord, and it's so convenient. It folds up really small, so it's good for travel, and you only have one cord to keep up. The watch you can also flip up to use in like a nightstand mode if you want to, but I've really been enjoying this. It works great. Have not had any issues. I love that it's only got the one cord. So that is my recommendation for this week for cool Amazon gadgets that you should definitely try. The link to that will be up here and in the description. Moving on, you all know, if you've been following for a while, that I had a pretty big appointment coming up with neurosurgery. I was concerned, but I wasn't really letting myself get down about it. But Lee and I did not get the news that we were hoping for, and we sat down last night to talk about it a little bit, so I will show you that now. Okay, so we had the neurosurgery appointment today that I talked about and that I've mentioned in my other videos. I haven't gone too in depth on what the problems are because I don't know, just trying not to think about it. So, but basically, when I had my initial injury, Dr. Godzik said that he was going to give me a year. So I'm fixated with 2 titanium rods that attach to my skull down to C2 and 3. Okay, yeah, that's right. And you know, I actually had fractured C1 also.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
I
didn't know that you were aware of it. Yes,
I read it in a radiology report. Yeah. They just focused on the AOD, the internal decapitation, but I actually, when I was going through my paperwork, I also fractured C1.
Which should have killed you.
Maybe, possibly C2. I'm not sure. I don't
remember either. I know you had a C1.
So
anyway.
So I've been struggling with a lot of neck pain. It's constant. It never gets any better. Anytime I laugh or sneeze, I have like major spasms in my neck.
But listening to you, I'm glad to say I haven't heard you say anything about it going past a 4 most of the time. I'm glad of that.
No, a 4 is my baseline.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
A 4 is baseline.
Yeah.
And then when I like bending over to like scoop the litter box or something, you know, things like that make it. So anyways, I've had a lot of neck pain, a lot of issues with my neck. He initially, I can't even look at the camera.
Don't worry about it. Just say what you got to say.
He initially told me that he was going to give me a year, and after a year we would reevaluate, but he was concerned that he would have to go back in because he wasn't able to fuse me back in a correct position because I kept...
Your vital signs and your motor function would drop out when you tried to
He
reduce
couldn't do it without paralyzing me. Yeah. And so he fixated me as best he could. And he said that the hardware itself is not made to support everything alone, that my vertebrae need to also have bone growth and fuse.
Yeah.
And I've had pretty much monthly scans since, and he's been a little bit concerned, but it's been mostly positive. And we were talking about this on the way home. It's weird because I'm normally, like before my accident, I'm kind of a pessimistic person. I'm a worst case scenario and a worry wart, but for some reason, I guess there's been so many other things to keep my mind off of my neck. I just haven't really let myself go there, as you can tell in my previous videos. But anyways, today, well, I could tell at my last appointment in October that he was concerned. And today, he pretty much said that my neck is not fusing.
Most likely not going to.
And it's not going to at this point. So I would need surgery, but like me, he is very hesitant to go in there because it's a huge risk. I have a CSF leak. My dura was destroyed. He had to graft it or rebuild it somehow. So going back in to fuse my neck will require either a rib or a hip bone to be wired in. And not just that, but they're talking about moving muscles from my back to my neck, and also just the risk of surgery is major.
And he said today that he doesn't want to take a chance on disturbing your shunt.
Right.
Or making it angry, I think is what he put. He doesn't want to anger your shunt.
So basically, it's a very major surgery, and it's a very risky surgery that could cause me to throw a clot, it could cause paralysis, it could cause death, which obviously I'm not anxious to do it right now. So the other option is to wait, which is what we've been doing, and just basically my neck is a ticking time bomb, and at some point the hardware is going to fracture or break, and we don't have a choice.
When that happens, the risk of not doing it outweighs the risks of doing it. Right now, the risks of the surgery are greater than not doing anything, but once you cross that threshold, something's coming loose, something's broken, now we have to do it, then the risk of not doing the surgery is greater than doing it. And he said at that time he would be comfortable going in and doing it. Right now, he doesn't want to do it any more than you do.
Yeah.
But once you pass that point, then he said we'll have to, and then I'll be comfortable doing it. Right now, I don't want to.
So that adds a whole other level of stress, because it's just going to be constant when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when am I going to have to do this, and will I survive it? Will I come out of it functional? You know, we haven't talked about it too much. Just have a hard time talking about it.
I would like to say that this is something new to her, but I have known since the day of the surgery. We had this conversation, but he was...
Well, I think he's been so
He
optimistic.
was very optimistic.
Yeah.
You know, it should fuse, everything should be fine. But now we've reached the point, okay, fusion is not happening, and at this point it's probably not going to happen. So now we're exploring more of those what ifs that I told you about. I was aware of them. They're just, with everything going as well as it was, she didn't have anything but positives to look for. Now she's on the same page as the rest of us. So,
which he did say, like, if the anxiety is too much, or like, you know, I'm just not able to live my life because I'm so worried about it, that would be reason enough to do it. But I don't want to. I am worried about it, but I sent a text to my family today to update them, and right now I just feel like more of a sense of, I already felt a sense of urgency with, like, I don't know, I hate to say YouTube because it sounds like clickbaity, but had this sense of urgency since I started YouTube and writing to document, because I am at a high risk of something happening, and the worst case scenario, it's something that, you know, I can leave my kids and family and they can look back on. But I lost my train of thought. So what I was saying was, so now I feel an even greater sense of urgency, and I don't want to do the surgery until I have to. So, you know, unless something drastic changes, my plan right now is to live my life the best that I can,
Joyfully.
and keep myself busy, and not like a bucket list situation. I mean, I'm not a terminal cancer patient, but there's a lot of...
Don't leave anything on the table.
Yeah, I want to live my life and enjoy my family and not leave anything on the table.
And one thing I want everybody to know that you mentioned on the way home, this is not, oh God, look at me, this is how this is going. The biggest reason for this conversation, and probably most of the rest of them, is therapeutic. And maybe someone going through whatever, not necessarily the same situation, but whatever, will get some good out of it as well. It's not, oh God, look at me, this is bad. It's therapy without leaving the house.
Yeah, I told Lee I brought my GoPro to the appointment because I was planning on like doing like an update in the car on the way home, because I don't know, I guess I've just been optimistic, which is so unlike me.
And it's not something to lose sight of.
And we got in the car, and I told him I was scared, that I didn't want this to feel clickbaity or like, look at me, feel sorry for me, or like, that's not, it's just, I wanted to document, it's documentation. It's also therapeutic to talk about. So yeah, that's how the appointment went. And yeah, is there anything else?
Onward and upward. Onward and upward, that's all I have to say. From day one. It's just, some of this is new to you, but not the rest of us.
Well,
So
but I think
I know that sucks.
No, I know, but I think what's new to me is I haven't let myself yet go there.
And if I'm wrong, say so, but I don't think you have fully, at least not until today, grasped the severity, the fragility of the situation.
Yeah, I told.
And I tried to be cautious as to how I put that. And that may be my fault. I should have been a little more forthcoming. I tried to tell you all this stuff, but
I just
not
chalked
lay
it
it out
up.
there in a brutal form.
I just kind of, I don't know. I think my coping mechanism for anything has always been denial. And if I don't acknowledge it or don't give it attention or whatever, then it's not happening. And every time Lee would, bring it up, I would just kind of say to myself, well, he's being dramatic and
overly protective.
Yeah, and I just kind of moved on.
She's been a little bit buddy with me for a while now. He won't let me ride my bike.
Bicycle, not motorcycle.
Her bicycle is an electric bike that not only is her head 18 inches higher off the ground than when she's on a motorcycle, but the damn thing will run 28 miles an hour. So there's potential for disaster there, and I'm being overprotected because I wouldn't let her ride it. And now, unfortunately, she has a better understanding of why those are for sale, and if she can't ride it, I'm not going to either. So.
Well, it's like not really new. The only new information is just that we're not going to be fused, and I'm gonna have to have surgery, but
there again, he really didn't come to that realization and admit it to himself
till today.
Himself.
I think
So
that's why.
you seeing him come
Yeah.
to that realization was probably hard.
Yeah,
because he's been the ultimate
He's
optimist.
been saying this is a possibility all along, but he's been real optimistic. So when I, talk to my family or, put it on Facebook or YouTube, I just kind of mention, kind of almost in passing, and I say, well, I don't really want to talk about it because I just didn't. I don't know. It was just like like a mental block. I wasn't letting myself.
It was
go
the lower
there.
end of the possibilities instead of the higher end.
Instead of
now
it's
that is the eventuality of it, not necessarily the possibility, but now it's an eventuality.
So now it's how much of my life can I live and enjoy until that happens, and of course when that happens, it could be totally fine. I could do perfect and great, and like it could be great, but it could also be catastrophic. And
considering he's one of the best in the world, you probably have a better opportunity of that than most people. So there again, something positive to look for.
It's just, it's not like having a knee surgery, and it's I don't really know what else to say about it. So there's the update.
I don't know much more to put with that either. So I mean, it is what it is. So once again, onward and upward.
And if you message me or text me and I don't respond, I just need to be quiet for a while.
We had a very quiet ride home today.
I don't know what to say other than I'm scared and terrified, but what I told him today, I don't want to romanticize it, and I don't want to be overly dramatic. I just trying to be factual and honest about how I feel about it and how
process it and prioritize it.
Yeah, I don't even really know how I feel about it other than I'm just scared. It feels like, it almost right now feels like North Korea has launched a missile and it's headed your way and there's nothing you can do about it, and that's kind of how I feel, and
Hopefully you get intercepted before it gets here.
And I can't, it doesn't matter how healthy I eat, doesn't matter how much I exercise or how much PT I do, there's absolutely nothing that can be done on my end to improve the situation. It's completely out of my control. So
we discussed, I don't know how you worded it, but the thing that promotes bone growth.
The bone stimulator.
Bone stimulator. He said it's not a bad idea, but he doesn't put much faith in that at this particular point.
He said it's not an option at this point.
Okay. Well, either way, it wasn't. Maybe to begin with, but now it wasn't really anything to do with it. So just throwing it out there in case that comes to anybody's mind.
The space of my injury is so wide that it would require so much bone growth.
That has not happened in the last 14 months.
So that's where we're at, and back to you, Christy. So that is where we're at. Yesterday was a pretty rough day. I still, as of this recording, have not talked to anybody about it other than I sent text to my family, pretty much told them where we stood, and, really wasn't up for talking about it. I have not posted it on social media. I guess I'm just still processing things, but Lee and I had a fairly good evening yesterday. He cooked a really good dinner for me, and he was really sweet, and we definitely held on to each other longer and tighter last night when we went to bed, and both ended up with wet pillows from crying together. But you know, all I can do is focus on things that I can control. I was laying in bed last night, and I guess it's a song, "Live Like You Are Dying," but that phrase kept repeating in my head, and if it's not a song, it should definitely be a country song, but I'm pretty sure it's a country song. Let's see what the Google says. Yeah, Tim McGraw. Okay. So I'm not crazy. I don't listen to country music, but I kept hearing that tune in my head last night. Anyways, so nothing's really changed as far as how I feel about it. You know, obviously, just like last week, it was hard for me to talk about, so I just didn't really talk about it. I just kind of put it out of my head, but now that I've been slapped across the face with reality, I've got to deal with it. And we laid in bed last night, and I made sure to tell him, you know, like my wishes, you know, if when this does have to happen, whenever it is, you know, if it doesn't go well, I, you know, made sure that he knew that I do not want to be ventilator dependent. I understand, you know, needing it temporarily for, you know, while you get better or whatever, but I don't want a permanent trach. I don't want to be ventilator dependent for the rest of my life. So if something were to happen and that's my future, that I don't want to live like that. This whole situation was traumatic enough. I don't want to do that. But right now the plan is to put it off for as long as humanly possible. That means dealing with the pain. And that's most likely why I'm in so much neck pain, because my neck it won't fuse. So I've struggled a lot with neck pain, but right now, you know, my quality of life is not bad enough that I'm willing to do that surgery. So if and when that day comes, you know, we'll talk about it. But for now, I'm just going to take it month by month, day by day. And when there's a problem with my hardware, which there will be at some point, then we will have to pull the trigger on that, and I will have to have the surgery. That's where we're at with that. I guess I need to get back in therapy. This is actually one time I'm kind of glad to be talking to a camera that doesn't talk back, because it's human nature to want to say something comforting to somebody that's dealing with, you know, a major medical issue. But there's really nothing to say, and I don't want to put anybody in that awkward position. So telling you this way, that takes away you don't have to say anything to make me feel better. So that brings me to, how can you help? How can you help me? If you're still watching this video, then you are helping me. My immediate goals are to continue with YouTube, try to grow it, try to do well at it, and get enough income where Lee can retire, at least from one job. If he could retire from one job and just work one full-time job, that would be great. But I want to spend as much time with my family as I can, while I can. In order to do that, I need him to retire, and he can't retire until I'm on disability or I make enough on YouTube to pay for insurance, for medical insurance. So that's my goal, is to continue with YouTube, you know, document this journey as best as I can, and hopefully the channel will grow and continue to do well, and we can make that happen. I've got a lot more to write about now, so I've got to work on my book. And you guys were right. Last week when I showed my helmet, most of you suggested I keep it. It would be a great thing for show and tell. And literally the next day I got a message from someone wanting me to be a guest speaker to some high school students. So I'll be doing that in March, and I'll have my helmet for that. So thank you for that suggestion. That was a great suggestion. And I may start, instead of doing weekly vlogs, I may do every other week with some shorter videos in between, because there's still a lot of content I have that I haven't put out there yet. There's still a lot of my story that hasn't been told, that needs to be told, but trying to do this weekly vlog and learn Final Cut Pro and editing and all of that is very time consuming. So basically everything is just up in the air. I don't really know what I'm doing or where I'm going. Things are just very precarious and unknown and scary right now. I will say that although, you know, life since this accident has been very hard and there has been a lot of good from it, I feel closer to my family. We're closer than we're ever been. My marriage to Lee, you know, is great. You guys comment on it all the time. You know, our dynamic, and apparently it comes across on camera because you guys talk about it in the comments a lot. But we're good and strong, and my kids are good and strong, and I guess I just have to learn to appreciate every day for what it is and make it the best that I can, and that's what I'm gonna do. That is something that I can control. I can't exercise my way out of this, or, you know, eat the right foods and things will get better. There's nothing that I can do but focus on the things I can control, which is working on this YouTube channel, you know, making things, and just trying to enjoy my family as best as I can, and, you know, see where this story goes. It truly could be the ultimate success story, as it has been so far. I mean, it still could be that, or it could be, you know, the ultimate tragedy. Nobody knows, and I'm definitely not in a hurry to find out. I am going to enjoy my weekend. I'm gonna take that sewing class tomorrow. By the time you see this video, I will have already taken it, but yeah, I don't really have any words of wisdom or a great way to end this vlog other than thank you for your continued support. Watching my content helps me. It helps my channel grow. It helps YouTube push out my videos for other people, which generates ad revenue. If you want to take it a step further, any of the affiliate links that I put down below, if you buy anything with those links, I get a small commission. Also, you know, my Etsy shop, which I don't see it being greatly stocked because I can only make things so fast. I can only go as fast as my hands can go. So but those are the ways that you can help, and even if you just watch and never comment, that still helps, and I appreciate you. Thank you, and I will see you back soon. No, not nice.